Hello, my name is Stefan Cartman. Welcome to my studio. This is the sixth in a series of video tutorials dedicated to preparing and performing chamber music online. In the fifth video in the series, we took a cello quartet by Julius Klengel, a theme and variations, and we recorded the first 30 seconds or so of each of the four parts. We layered those in Pro Tools, and I promised that when we got on to the next section that we'd talk a little bit about how to use the extra tracks that we placed into our file at the beginning to handle quick succession entrances. And we're going to do that, but I want to first talk a little bit about quality control. You know, as you do this and you make your recordings for each of the sections, you're going to hear things, and I would suggest that you take care of them as they happen. When you have four parts and they're all recorded and you're listening for something, to find something that's right or wrong, or it's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. So if you hear a sound that's not right or something that's not quite together, it's best if you try and take care of that as soon as possible. And in that spirit, well, I'm sure I wasn't the only one that realized that when we recorded that third cello part, the last thing that we recorded in the last session together, that third cello part really didn't line up quite with the others. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, you can hear already that the thing is off. That third cello part, it just wasn't together with the first cello part. And when something's not together, you know, it could be that the whole thing is off because of latency. And in that spirit, when I listened to this thing the first time, and well, after our session last time, what I did was I moved it over, and it got a little bit better, but it still wasn't quite right all the way through. And that's already a signal that it wasn't just that the whole thing was off because of latency. That's a signal that there was some stuff that wasn't together, and that can happen for a variety of reasons. The first thing that I look to is that you couldn't hear the other parts well enough. Maybe your earphone volume was a little bit too low. You know, that's a balancing act. If you have the volume of your earphones too low, you'll miss some things that are in the other parts. Just like in a real rehearsal, if you're not listening really carefully and somebody moves a little or pulls back a little bit and you don't quite catch it, you're apt not to be with them. Well, that's exactly what happened to me in video 5 of the tutorial on how to do this. And I'll show you why I know that it's not just a latency issue. It's because at a certain point, all of those voices are all together. Here, let's give a listen again. Okay, you can hear where everybody was together on that one downbeat, and because the stuff before it wasn't together, and that was, you know that track has just got to be recorded over again. So let's do that now. We have some extra tracks, so why don't we just put it in there? Now normally if I knew that I wasn't going to use the track, and I know I'm not going to use that one, normally I would just go ahead and light up that very same track, and I just record over it like this. Hang on a second. In order to record over it, I have to do this, right? And then I'd start recording, and I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother. I'm going to undo that. But for now, what I'd like to do is maybe compare the two so you see how you can make an improvement. So I'm going to record over the 3B track right here. I'm going to undo the record light on that one and do the record light on this one, and I'm going to get ready to go. But there's a couple of things I have to do first. Well, normally I would have to make sure that I tuned first, but I did that. So I want to undo the muting on our special click track. I don't know if you remember that we did that click track last time. And I'm going to start recording right in here and see if I can't do a little better job. Now I did turn up my earphones so I can hear the other parts a little bit better. Hopefully I'll do better than I did last time. Okay, hang on a second. I got to get my music up here. There we go. All right, ready to go. Press the space bar and off we go. either, but I think it's a little bit closer, and let's see how it sounds compared to the other one. The first one that we did, just to refresh, sounded like this. You can hear that it's badly off. Now I'm going to mute that track, and I'm going to play the one that we just recorded. Okay, well, there's still some things that are behind. I think if I was in the situation and I didn't succeed the second time around, probably I'd try and practice it with that first part a couple of times, just so I get the feel for what the timing is in that first part, and then probably I would do a better job. For the purposes of this tutorial, maybe we don't need to get it perfect, but I can show you a path towards getting it better. All right, now let's take care of the thing that I really meant to do in this session, and that's to take care of those quick entrances. I want to have a look at the score, and here's what we did so far. We recorded the first part up until its first rest here. We recorded the second part from here all the way down to here. We recorded the third part again from the beginning, and that one went for quite some ways all the way until here, and this is where this series of entrances begins, the fourth part being the first entrance, and that one we did from the beginning. So what we need to be taking care of next is this series of entrances. You'll notice that the first part was out quite early on. The second part, first part was out quite early on, right? The second part was out a little bit later. That allows us to stitch some of this stuff together, right? And then we recorded the third part last, even though we had one entrance down here in the bottom, and then one entrance here. So this is part of 4 entrances that happen all the way up the line. Well, we have that one. We'll have to take care of that too. All right. So what I would propose to do with my group is now start with the second cello part, so we can listen to that. That's this one right here. And then hopefully we'll be able to get that first part in. And then once we get that first part in, I think we can go for quite a ways. There's running eighth notes for quite a while. So let's do the second part and the first part, and I'll show you what it's like to get that stuff with the quick entrances. All right. We can go back to our file here. All right. So the bit that we just recorded, we know we're going to use. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just go ahead and put it up here. So if we need this second area here to do some recording, we can have it. We just replaced the stuff that we recorded before. That's gone, and that's fine. And now what we need to do is record into the second part, right in here. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. All right. So sometime around here, we're going to have to start recording just so that we can hear the stuff before. Let's give it a listen. Okay, and now right at that moment in time, what you heard was da-dee-da, da-dee-da, and the next part is not there. So that's a good thing for us to record next. Let's do it. I have to set it up. I think I'm going to back it up a little bit more so I can get a little bit more of a listen time. And I've got the record button lit. I know what I'm playing, and I know what I'm playing after. So all I have to do is press the space bar. point out that where I had to start recording so I could get a good run on it and listen to it was all the way back here. And if I had recorded over that cello 2 part like this, this is the way this thing would sound. So you see, that's really a no-no. And that's why we have these extra tracks that we're going to be using to record things that have entrances that are kind of close together. So let's listen to this bit and see what it sounds like. Okay. Obviously, we're still missing some things. So let's see what it is that we're missing. We've done this guy down here. We did this guy and we did this guy. We stopped because there was no point in recording this long note without the information from up there in that first part, the eighth notes. So we've got to go back here and record this entrance. Let's have a look at our file. That's going to be somewhere back here. Let's give a listen and see. It's right there. Da dee da ba dum, right in here now. Okay, so that's the part. I think we're back far enough, but we have some work to do over here in our file. We're going to undo the recording light on here so we don't record over that. We're going to go up here to the first part, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Now this one is going to go on for quite some time, so I don't think I'm going to play as far ahead as I would probably do. I mean, it goes some ways away. Yeah, the eighth notes continue there for a while, and there's some other issues that we have to take care of before the end of the movement, but we can at least get this first part. All right, let's do it. You can already tell that there's trouble on the horizon with that one because we're going to have to be able to time that long note with some interesting nuance that's going to happen in the cello part. For this purpose, we would probably be using that click track again, and we put some eighth notes in there to help with understanding the rubato in that place so that we could use the first one even though we've got a long note and we can't exactly predict the other part. We have something going on that click track, and that's what I'm gonna do with the next session. We're gonna talk about some interesting uses of the click track to take care of various challenges that are in the music. So I think we covered what we needed to for today. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope that this gives you some ideas on how to continue working with whatever chamber group you're recording with remotely. And I hope that this is helpful to everybody. So it's been fun making the videos so far. Soon we're going to start putting, as soon as I feel like we've got a number of the tools that we need to make the audio, then we'll talk about how to put audio together with the video, and in fact how to record the thing from one end to the other without stops, which is what a performance should really be like. Okay, thanks. I'll see you next time.